What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to be doing my analysis for the week. Took a trade on Friday, which I need to stop doing Fridays just because the market is weird sometimes. But looking at the week, this is what I'm looking at right now. So I'm looking at it. Still feel like we have a weekly uptrend. Um, this is kind of where it gets a little bit weird because this is technically what caused our break of structure right here on the monthly. I don't know if we're gonna go down that low. That's a lot, right? But I'm just gonna focus on the weekly for now, just because I think this is the way to go. I still see some continuation to the downside. That's just me personally. If I go here, you can see this was the first break of structure right here. We then returned back to it. Let's go ahead and mark our weekly level right there. We then returned back to it and then pushed up. So this also now can be our new start of our break of structure here. So you can see here we came through the liquidity all the way back through it, almost touched the bottom of it, and then pushed back up. And so if I delete that and now add it here, right, to this new one, right, I don't think we've come all the way down yet, right? And so this is kind of what I've seen. You can see the past 4 weeks we had bearish weeks. So if you would have caught that, we're almost exactly on NQ at least down 3,000 points. All right, so it's just a matter of being patient. So now if you go down to the daily, which is kind of what I'm looking at right now, if I mark my daily levels here, you can kind of see that right there. Let's mark it. I'm also going to remove the inside areas just to make it a little bit easier. Here's my daily, because I think it's easier to see it with no background on the inside. All right, so you can see this is our daily down there, the order blocks. And so if we go back up here, this is what I just didn't pay attention to last week, but you can see right about here. It could also happen here too, but this right here is, we had a break of structure that happened. You can also go here too. This is what I'm going to use more so next week. Is here's our break of structure on the daily that happened, right? And so what can happen is we push up and we continue back down to this liquidity area. If we go to the 4 hour, you can kind of see it's a little bit cleaner, right? So two things that can happen. It can either happen up here because this is the first one that started it, or it can happen here. So me personally, I like to kind of set them at two different places. So here's going to be my first one that will probably have a push up. There we go. On the 4 hour, we'll push back up there. If for whatever reason we continue up here, then it could potentially happen here because this is what created the first breakthrough, the first real, break of structure. And so we could push all the way back here. That's just, some of my thoughts. Going to the hourly also. So once again, you can see here, break of structure. So same thing here. We can potentially have it marked here. Let's see. We can even add that just right about in here. And then, like I said, guys, why I do this is just to make it a little bit easier for my eyes. If I step away, I can come back. So this is kind of what I'm looking at potentially. A potential, if I am looking at shorts, I'm looking more so in this area. So once again, that's the 300s or also the 100 areas for NQ. If you want to ride the momentum up, you can too. I would probably switch back to the hourly if you're going to try to ride up. This was a potential break of structure right about here. So you could also, wait, right, for us to get back down here to continue up. All right. But me personally, after seeing the weeks being like this, I'm all about following the trends. At the end of the day, if we can follow the trends to the right direction, that's a lot of money, a lot of points to the right direction. So what threw me, if we go back to Friday, what kind of threw me a little bit was um, me thinking it was going to happen earlier. Like, realistically speaking, this should have been my wait for a short area, but I was taking it a lot earlier. I was taking it actually, give or take. in this realm right here, right? So I was too tight to it. But if you really look at it, this is the real break of structure right here. Okay, this is your break of structure. So realistically speaking, if you have this right here on your hourly, you could have, waited. All right, here we go. So this is a potential, if you want to be technical on like the range that we're in. So you could have done something like that, right? Where once again, you're looking at, where we're directed to. So I didn't catch this, right? Looking at this right here. So if you would have done a potential level here on the hourly, because just think about this is a quote unquote break of structure. We are then coming back to as close to this order block as possible. You can then bump down to even like a 30-minute to see just different spikes of things, right? So let's go to the 15-minute because it might be a little bit easier to see it. All right, so once again, technically this is your first, if you want to say order block that started this break of structure. Here we go. There's a retest right there, right? And then we have it here. And so ultimately in the morning time, if you would have, try to continue long, this could have been your quote unquote order block, right? That caused it. All right. All right. This is the first one right here. And then boom, you could have, got in here. Me personally, I am trying to avoid longs. That's me personally, and I'm trying to follow what the trend is because I seem to be getting the bigger moves that way. So that's something I'm going to be focused on. Once again, looking at next week, even if I go to the 4 hour right here, you can kind of see it a little bit cleaner, right? So this is potentially my area of interest in regards to shorts. Yes, it does take a little bit of patience, a lot of patience, and it can happen over days. But one thing I'm learning is if I can be patient and wait for these high interest areas, right? And it may mean no trading for me, right? But if I can be patient and wait for those areas, then there's a high probability I can catch the bigger move, right? And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just trying to catch the bigger moves versus the, the back and forth, just because it's easier, right? If you would have caught this right here, let's just say this one happened in the morning time. So this was 5 a.m. You can see there is a break of structure here. So let's just say hypothetically this one right here on the hourly. And let's say that we had removed this one right here. So boom, 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 boom. Right? If you would have caught this right here, right, on the hourly, how many points is that? All right, so there we go. There's a push up, there's a push down. Like, how many points is that if you want to be technical, right? And this is within, these are hours, obviously, right? So there's a push up again. Right, but the reason why I'm saying this is because, like, ultimately, if you would have even caught this first, hypothetically, let's go back here. So here we go. This is in the morning time. This is your morning time right here, 6:45. This is NQ. That's 400 points. All right, so $800 with doing the micros. If you're doing the normal ones, that's 8,000 right there. You would have waited for it to come back up here. This would have been a little bit late, but you would have waited for it to come back here, and you could have once again got back in. Got back in. Same area, and if this is now after hours, look at that, almost 200 points, right? Respecting that same area. So this is what I'm looking at. Once again, as always, do your own due diligence when it comes to market analysis. But this is kind of what I'm looking for. I am looking for a potential move back to the upside. Give or take up about right here for a potential continuation down. What you can do, depending on how you're trading, you could honestly just wait, or you can wait for a retest back down to the downside to continue up, right? And then making sure you're taking profit, give or take about here. That's about 600 points too. Really good trades can do that. I'm not there yet as I'm still in my trading journey, but this is something that you guys can do. Those of you guys that want to, catch both sides, let's just say, There we go. You know, you can catch both sides. This is a huge range right here, or a huge area of where, you know, you see that we had a big push down. All right. We've honestly been in a range the past couple of days. So that's what I'm looking at. That's just me personally. Um, yeah, that's just me personally. This is what I'm looking at. And we'll see how it plays out. Right. But that's it. You know, if there's any questions, definitely let me know. You can see even here again too, right? There's your quote unquote daily order block that's happening right there. All right. 4 hour, we go to hourly. Let's see. All right. So what started that move? So your hourly one is up here. All right. So for me personally, I mean, you could short here, right? But for me personally, I'd rather get a deeper pullback into here, you know. So depending on what happens on Monday, right, we could have a breakthrough here. If I see a breakthrough, hypothetically, through this range, let's just say I get a breakthrough up here, then yeah, I may, you know, wait for a retest and then have a continuation up here, give or take. But I won't be in longs, long, me personally. That's just me personally. Just because I feel like the past, until I see something different, the past 4 weeks have been just straight bearish. So I'm gonna just try to follow the trend with that. And you've seen, if we were to quote unquote invert our chart, let me see if I remember how to do this. Well, if we were to invert our chart, you'll kind of see like it's very similar, right? This could technically be a quote unquote, you know, I mean, once again, a quote unquote, you know, fake breakout that happened on a daily. Um, but we'll see. You know, I think it's something to kind of look at. But that's it. That's my analysis for the week. This is what I'm looking at going into the week. Me personally, I'm waiting for hopefully a potential deep pullback over here. If we don't get it, and let's just say that we dump from here, I'm not going to chase it. I'm not going to do FOMO. I want to wait. I think I've been way more profitable when I get into like deeper pullbacks. And so if I can do that more consistently, I think it'll go a long way. And that's what's been working. That's what's been working for me personally. So if there's any questions, let me know, and see you guys in the next video.